Hey everyone, it's me Lisa and I'm coming at you with another video. This week we are discussing why I won't buy Ali Hazelwood's new book. So without any further ado, let's get into it. So you might very well know that Ali Hazelwood's new book is coming out very soon. It's a book that is about sci-fi, romance, and follows up on major successes that she's had in the past. I have read the first book she came out with and the second book she came out with, and I was not impressed. I can live up here the full reviews of both, but to me the style of writing that Ali Hazelwood applies to all of her books that I've read so far is very simplistic, and the content of her books was a copycat of one another. The whole premise was exactly the same: enemies to lovers. There is, in the first instance, a student-teacher relationship. I know it seems very inappropriate, but the student is of age to be able to consent. But the thing is that the book in itself was still full of very predictable, very not well thought out tropes. It had the very common, very unoriginal one bed, the very common, oh, I don't have a pajama thing, so I need to wear your shirt because I'm so dumb that I didn't buy one, and wouldn't go out and buy a pajama for myself because I don't have it. And it just is filled with cringe moments, such as sitting on the teacher's lap in a room full of people, that instead of having her sit and him standing up, she sat on his lap in a room where all of her friends were standing up and she was the only one to sit down. Let's make it more cringe. I don't care if you think that's cute. I think it's just straight up embarrassing and inappropriate. I personally am not a fan of relationships that are displayed in such a performative way that you need to tell everyone around you that you are together. If I have to make a comparison on romance relationships that I can accept, we have the founding rock that will never be moved aside for me is Pride and Prejudice. Why? Because there the romance works. There are some key differences between this and Ali Hazelwood's book, except the very cheesy one-bed trope that in Jane Austen's time would not have been possible. But apart from that, is really a question of pacing and timing within the books that is very different, and makes it for me difficult to accept the second one even as a believable relationship, because that's what it comes down to. In Jane Austen's book, the timeline is very long. We have a long time where Elizabeth and Mr. Darcy, which is the main relationship of the book, are not seeing each other, and there is a lot going on between them. There is a lot of interest in that book in reflecting on a human relationship. He is rich, yes, but that is an aside for Elizabeth. That is very, I would say, unpopular for this modern day and age not to really give that much credit to the finances. Nowadays, social media is filled with people only caring about how much he makes, how much he can provide, how much he can do, which was exactly the interest at the time in which the book was written. In Ali Hazelwood's books, the time in which everything happens is really fast. Not much goes on between the characters, and the male interest development is not explored at all. And that goes against the interest of the reader, which is myself, in the book, because this male interest goes from being perfect to being perfect, so there's no development at all. In the development of the characters, we have a very strong development, because it's called Pride and Prejudice because the two main characters go from being prideful and prejudiced about one another to being accepting of one another and going against their own fake belief about each other, being a lot more accepting of each other's faults and each other's everything. On the contrary, in Ali Hazelwood's novels, everything we get is a perfect male interest that is so compassionate, so the one for every single aspect of the relationship, has no faults, and that hinders a lot the development of the relationship because we don't really get an arc for that character. And the female quirky main character, the only thing that she goes from not having as a belief to having is that she can actually have that type of person as a partner. So she is not enough at the beginning, but then she becomes enough because she believes in herself. And she's very different. There is this intent to go out of the norm on what can make an academic, what can make a scientist. And that is nice. I thought that that was nice because there are so many status quo things about who can be allowed into disciplines, and a real life example of that is Sadia. She is a psychologist, an academic, a very, very beautiful woman, and she has a hard time because when you are that beautiful in a field where people are normally very average looking, it's very hard to be taken seriously. So that I appreciated. Here we don't have a male interest that is just the average, and like the female male interest is a bit different. Here we have the classic stunning guy with the incredible body, with an incredible body part that then gets used to have intercourse, that is obviously super performative, and those people that are the interests always have to be incredibly tall compared to the female counterpart because that's just how it is. And she is mini, which in real life, it does happen. We see it all over social media. There are couples that are like that, but they are not every couple. And the sole fact of having that as a premise is hindering to me. Because if she's average and different, why can't he be? It's just very simplistic and very not my style. Having that as a premise is hindering to me. Because if she's average and different, why can't he be? So sick of seeing only those types of men being included in those romances just to make it interesting. That is not a thing that I will pursue. I hope that if you agree, you will write it in the comments, even if you disagree. If you enjoy that kind of simple romance, simple dreaming about things, I'm not judging, it's fine. I just think that for me, literature is a bit more. So Ali Hazelwood, I'm sorry, I reviewed 2 of your books, and that's all that it's gonna be for me. So I hope that you enjoyed this exploration. It's not definitely in depth, but it is my reasoning behind why I won't be buying that book. And tell me, are you instead excited about it? Are you not buying it as well for some reason? Tell me down in the comments below. I will be super interested to know about that. And I really hope that you will subscribe, like the video, and that we will see each other in the next one. Bye guys!